Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of TGIF. Gone are the days wherein a user would need to navigate through multiple applications, portals and gateways to access information. The growth of the co-worker has been spectacular, but is it the right solution for the problem? To share more details on this, we have Sandeep. Hi Sandeep, welcome to TGIF.
My pleasure, Arvind. Thank you for hosting me, and it's always good to be on this side of the table.
Absolutely, our pleasure to have you in this session.
Awesome.
So Sandeep, we've seen the rise of the co-worker. Wanted your thoughts in terms of what is the direction it is headed towards?
Look, Arvind, let's look at how all of us use AI today, right? We don't stick to one AI assistant. We use many assistants because we are still getting used to who gives the right answer, right? Similarly, in the agentic AI era, there are multiple agents surfacing each passing day, and of course, we're getting used to which agent to use for what purpose. I think it's going to be not easy for us to decide which one to use when, because the problem on hand will be multifaceted. Is there a way there can be one agent who will take my problem, figure out how should we approach the problem, solve it, get back to me? Hence, I always believe a co-worker or a co-work should be like a FrontDoor agent. Yeah, a FrontDoor agent who will be the facade for HCI, and I hand off a task, let FrontDoor agent execute it for me and come back with results.
Okay, you spoke about a FrontDoor agent being a kind of a gateway. Can you just elaborate what does that mean?
Absolutely, it's not a metaphor, but it's reality, right? That means let's look at Copilot co-work, right? It's meant to be a task solver for me. I hand off a task, it's executing, I can move on to the next task. I can hand off other task, right? That means, and if you look at the workings behind the scenes of a Copilot co-work, if you look at how the brain works, it uses certain skills, it plans, it executes as a plan, and eventually get an outcome, right? In my opinion, the OpenClaw has been the classic manifestation of this design thinking. That means, instead of just asking me anything, you can task me anything, I'll do it for you. So let me show visually in terms of what goes into a FrontDoor agent. Yeah?
Absolutely, Sandeep. We would love to kind of
Wonderful. Let me bring my laptop. This is I would say, anatomy of an AI agent, right? So I said FrontDoor agent. Let's assume co-work is my FrontDoor agent. Yeah? That means it's my conversation endpoint. I converse with my co-worker, I hand off a task. Okay. It's a conversation, not a one-time handoff, because co-work decides when to bring me back in the loop, seek my opinion and move forward. Yeah? So imagine I hand off a task, co-work gets into planning mode. It has to orchestrate the flow. It has an orchestrator. And if you look at the true capability of a FrontDoor agent, it will have access to skills, right? With skills to invoke for what problem. It will have memory to understand some of my personalization aspects. It will be action oriented because it's going to use MCP to call the skill, and eventually call the specific endpoint or a capability, and grounded on enterprise knowledge, right? It doesn't end there. I said it's an orchestrator. Orchestrate with whom? It's a FrontDoor agent, right? Behind the scenes, there'll be concierge of agents available. That means they're all SMEs waiting to help. So imagine I've given a task, co-work as a FrontDoor agent, plans, understands, okay, these are the SMEs available for me. Let me use these SMEs to solve the problem Sandeep has handed off. And at times it might be chain of thoughts while it's planning. And when it comes to getting work done, before getting into action mode, chain of debates with other agents behind the scene. That means I don't have to interact directly with multiple agents. My FrontDoor agents take ownership and stays accountable to plan and interact with other agents to solve my problem. This is the larger design thing, Arvind. But of course, we're still seeing co-work as a product evolve in that shape and form, very close to being a reality, but that's the direction going for. That means I don't have to remember multiple agents. I remember one UI for AI. That's my Copilot co-work. That's a task solver. That's my buddy.
Okay, thanks for that. So if I were to just talk about an example from day-to-day activities,
Yeah.
we have complex processes like order to cash, procure to pay, and multiple others.
Yeah.
And each of these processes have multiple sub-activities.
Yeah, yeah.
It would mean that I have a single front door agent wherein I just task it a particular activity. The tool would then have the ability to identify a particular process, call upon it, work with the multiple agents working in that process, and execute it end to end.
Absolutely. It can be, imagine, what are the real example here? For a finance personnel, procure to pay, order to cash is a use case. For HR personnel, finding out who will iterate and take actions is a task on hand. Both of them will use friend or agent. The agent will decide which skill to invoke for the problem given. Why should I decide, okay, I'm a HR, let me invoke HR agent? No. Let friend or decide. That's the way forward.
So across an organization, across all divisions, across all employees, one single gateway wherein you put in your
Absolutely.
request and you get the task done.
Absolutely. But of course, I said this will have memory, right? That memory component holds who is talking to me and which group they belong to, what are their expectations, in what context they're talking to me. That context decides how should planning happen, whom should be consulted, how to execute and get work done.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you, Sandeep. This has really been insightful, and look forward to seeing more organizations bring in this particular thought process and then execute the same.
I would think, Arvind, the manifestation AI as a co-worker, as a product, that will be the eventual landing. That means businesses will depend on this co-work as a co-worker to literally get tasks done going forward. They don't have to sweat much, in my view.
Thank you for this. As you see, we are truly entering an era of an co-worker who would act as a buddy and help us to navigate the organizational complexities in terms of getting data. Thank you for watching. See you next week. Till then, bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.